United 7 Echo Fox X-ray from the Philippines. This is Zulu Sierra 6 Lima Fox from Benoni in South Africa. Back to you.
Zulu Sierra 6 Lima Fox, Chris. Thank you for returning my call. This is DDR5 from Philippines. And thank you so much for the nice shoes though, and I really appreciate it for that call, so that you can confirm me for this contact. Over. Back to you, please.
Won't be able to penetrate, and they won't be able to blow our cities up. And I'm not sure exactly.
Yeah, I told you
that's
United
about
7
the only details he
DFX.
gave. They're not going into it. And you know, it should be top secret. He has a hard time keeping secrets. And it may be true. I don't know. But it sounds like he's. And I think he and Musk are going to work on the details out on that. And I don't know how far along they are. But one thing that might corroborate it a little bit. Another very legitimate story. It hit the mainstream news and the other news, you know, Fox, and then down lower than Fox into the the real right wing stuff. So it's hit various news channels that we are coming up with something. No, excuse me. Let me back up a little. The Secretary of Defense also said, the new one that Trump appointed, as well as these newscasts, have reported the same thing. So it's been on not just one person, but on several, different platforms, that we won't be building any ballistic missiles. A reporter asked the Secretary of Defense, China seems to be gaining ground on the supersonic missiles. What are we going to do about it? And he said, we're not going to be building many of those anymore. We're not going to be doing a lot of that anymore. So I remembered that, and then I heard about the Golden Globe, and I said, what is going on? So that's all I know about it.
Well, I'm going to have to look into that. If we're not building any more missiles, they obviously have something up their sleeve. I would venture to say. Be kind of interesting to find out just exactly, what they're talking about.
Yeah, I don't know one way or the other. That's what I've heard. I've heard it from other people that I know, plus some of the newscasts, and then the interview that he had and his answer, that was legitimate. He did say that. Why would we be backing away from missile production when the Chinese are going 1,000 miles in that direction, building more and more ships equipped with interballistic missiles and things like that, if we don't have something up our sleeve? So maybe it'll even go farther. If you really wanted to stretch your imagination, you can say somehow we have been in contact. If they reveal everything, like you said, bring everything out in the open, maybe we have been in contact with some alien force, and maybe they told us how to make this. So now that's getting probably even beyond the way I think. But I mean, anything is possible. I mean, you could just keep going and going and going, couldn't you?
Well, absolutely. That's interesting. Yeah, I'll have to look into that a little bit. There's no question that they've been here, and they've been here for years and years, and they supposedly made a deal with Eisenhower and so on and so forth. So I don't know, but it's definitely time for some honesty and some truth to come out, some transparency. I mean, the American public are definitely tired of being lied to, especially in those kind of subject matters. So, it'll be interesting to see what actually pans out. I think that's why they've started to release, some information so that, they can kind of have something, when it all does come out, they can say, well, we tried to be honest with you and da-da-da-da, just basically protecting their own back. But I think that's why they've, released some information as much as they have, is because I believe something is coming. Something's going to happen where, it's going to be out of the government's hands. It's just going to be right in our face. I don't know, do you believe in UFOs? Do you believe in aliens, Dave?
Well, I'm certainly, I think that possibility is very likely. Another thing to maybe add to everything, there is now this would be maybe coming more from other news sources than CNN and MSNBC or even Fox probably wouldn't carry it, but the story is out that there are alien forces that are friendly toward us and some that are not. But the friendly ones, I guess they've kind of picked the United States over some of the other adversaries, thinking, at least at that time, we were a little more stable, and are giving us this technology because they don't want us to blow ourselves up. They aren't here to blow us up. They're here to protect us. So they're giving us this technology. So we can't get into World War III, because if their ballistic missiles don't work and they hit a shield, what are they going to do? And then thus no World War III, we don't blow the Earth up. They want to keep the Earth. The Earth is, no matter how you look at it, is a special planet. As far as we have been able to determine, there aren't any other planets quite like it. There may be out there light years away, but that's so far that, say, about 100 or 1,000 light years, that is so far. Can you imagine how long it even would take a radio signal to get from that galaxy to ours? It could take 1,000 years from some of them. So you're never going to really hear from them when you're trying to communicate with them. So it's just really wild. I know that. Very, very wild. These things are coming out. And normally you would say, but we know now from what we've seen in our own technology that almost anything is possible. But it'll be interesting, and I hope you and I, you more likely than me, because you're 20 years younger than I am, 19, probably will, if it is true, you'll see it.
Yeah, I sure hope to. I hope to see something come about. Like I say, it's definitely time for a change in our government. We've got to make some severe changes, and I feel that transparency on subject matters of this kind is absolutely necessary. So yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, I twice in my life, Dave, I've seen some things, up in the sky. I've spent a lot of time in the woods, snowmobiling and such, and two occasions when I've seen something that, I don't have any proof, but when you just know in your gut that what I was looking at was definitely not of this earth. I mean, there's just no question in my mind that what I saw was not from here. We don't have things that can do that yet. What I saw, and there was a pretty good group of us that were up in the mountains snowmobiling and saw this. So that, I mean, twice in my life I've seen something like that, and it just, you look at the pyramids and stuff. I don't care how many tens of thousands of guys you had. There's just no way that they built those pyramids without some kind of help, some kind of, anti-gravity lifting something, and hieroglyphics in the caves, and you know the way the ancient people tell stories. You know, these things coming down out of the sky. Well, of course they're a god. You know, I mean, it's all right in front of our face. You know, it's pretty cut and dry as far as I'm concerned. That you know, there's something more going on here than they're letting us know.
Well, I can't stand here and disagree with you at all. Whiskey 7, Mike Bravo, Romeo, not at all. And it's pretty hard to convince me of anything, religion or otherwise. I've always been that way, even as a young kid. When they were trying to get me to go up in the Billy Graham rallies, come a GR, and you go up front, confess your sins and accept Christ, all of that. I was always a hard nose on that. But what you're talking about now is something you can almost see and physically grab your fingers and your teeth into it. We've seen, my wife and I won't go into the details right now for a time element here, but we saw something that had to be extraterrestrial, and we, you know, like everybody else, we just sort of, after a year or two, said, well, maybe it was our imagination, but at the time, it wasn't our imagination. We were scared to death. My daughter and some friends, they had in Utah, down in the southern part, a little south of Provo, actually, not clear down in the southern part of Utah, they have what they call the hot pots. And the young kids go down and in the middle of the winter often, and they get in their swimming suits or not swimming suits, if you know what I mean. And they keep warm in the water, even if it's 30 degrees below zero up there. It's quite an interesting place. And anyway, they were up there, and they heard a noise, and they saw this bright light, and they saw it kind of land. And they heard something coming after them, and so they hurried and got dressed, and were able to get in their car, and the freeway wasn't too far, maybe 50 miles from where they were at I-15. They got on I-15, and my daughter was driving, and one of the guys in the car said, hey, look, there's these lights are following us. They said, well, it's probably a semi or something. No, it's not a semi. Look, they're going up in the sky, and they're coming down, and sure enough, they took a picture of the lights, and I've seen the snapshot. And they followed them almost all the way to Provo. And when they got to Provo, the lights just quickly disappeared. So that was pretty poignant. Like the spaceship or whomever they were didn't want them to get away, but then eventually they just took off, and that was the last they ever saw of them. But that's a true story. A story that sounds like maybe somebody made up, but my daughter is like me. It takes everything in the world to convince her of something. But she almost needed psychiatric help after that. She was so upset about it.
Wow, that's pretty cool. You saw the snapshot, huh? What did it exactly look like?
It looked like it didn't look like a headlight at all. You know, when you look at a light and it's brighter in the middle, and then it kind of disperses out from that, because that's where the element is in a headlight or something. But it's brighter in the middle, and then it kind of fades out toward the ends, kind of a thing. It wasn't like that at all. It was the same in the middle as the ends, and it was very, very bright. But it was not any brighter in the middle than the outside of the light. If I'm explaining it right, it just looked like it was all the same intensity, even all the way out to where it quit. And it just quit. So it would go out so far, and then it wouldn't flare out anymore. It wouldn't go beyond that point. It was all encased in like a circle, and it was the same brightness throughout the circle. That in itself is pretty, and it showed up that way on the film.
Wow, that's interesting. Huh? Yeah, I imagine that probably scared the hell out of those kids, didn't it?
My daughter, this has been 25 or 30 years ago. She still she gets goosebumps and almost starts to cry. It just scares her to death. She did one other thing. I don't tell too many people about this, but not that it's going to hurt anything. Do you know of a woman called, she's deceased now, but her name was Dolores Cannon. Does that ring a bell?
It does. I don't know where from, but I think I've heard that name before.
She was there's a name for it, but it's like a reverse psychiatrist. She puts people under, hypnotizes them, and they go back in time. I know it sounds weird, and I thought my daughter was crazy. To quickly say what happened to her, then I'll give you more details. My daughter flew out to her residence. She lived in Arkansas. She had to pay her, and she hypnotized my daughter, and then she went back in time. And I just told my daughter, this is insane. What are you doing? And even now, a little bit that comes into my mind. However, there were some interesting things that came out of it. So anyway, this Dolores Cannon, you look her up, Dolores Cannon. And she's very famous. She's done it for movie stars. My daughter was having her little reading with and hypnotism. You can't believe who was sitting in the lobby or her home or wherever it was, waiting for his reading. That was Jack Black. I'm serious. He was there. He flew in to have her do it. So she did movie stars, and after that, my daughter and Jack went out and tied one on. Oh, what a crazy girl she is, I tell you. So anyway, she hypnotized her, and she recorded it. And she said, where are you now? Amy was her name. And she says, well, I'm landing on a planet. And I recognize the planet, and I feel like I belong here. So anyway, long story short, she somehow lands on this planet, and it's all crystals. And she said she saw these heads, people that she, even though she couldn't make the features out, she recognized them, and they were saying, Amy. And they were pointing to a staircase that went down under the ground, a crystal staircase. And they said, go. And so she goes down there, and they're having, they said, we've been waiting for you. You've been gone so long. And Amy said she recognized everything. Anyway, she was talking, and she didn't sound like herself. She was talking in it was sort of an English, but some other words mixed in with it. It did not sound like my daughter, and when she listened to it, she about freaked out. And then I can't remember the rest of the details. Now that sounds like somebody's got their rocker loose. Now my daughter has her head screwed on straight. She ended up being a PA nurse, and very smart girl. Never believed anything like that. Not even a religious girl. Never believed anything like that in her life. But that certainly kind of changed her view on everything. I think she still got that tape. I wish I could get a copy of it. That really startled me. I said, that doesn't even sound like him. She said, no, I was going back to a younger period of my life. So that's about the only thing I can tell you that I've ever been through, and my daughter has been through. But that was pretty interesting. Didn't mean to write you a book. Hope I'm not boring you.
No, not at all. I find that stuff absolutely fascinating. Yeah, I looked the name up here. It came up on Google, so I'll have to do a little research on that. Well, that's really wild. So there's, a good possibility then your daughter has been through some pretty wild stuff happening. That's kind of scary, when you stop and you think about what really that's implying, that's crazy. I mean, you know, all of these people that say they've been abducted and so on and so forth, you know, I believe truly that something has happened to them. I don't know exactly what, but they've been through some kind of an experience. You know, and there's too many of them that come forward, and you know, when they hypnotize them and so on and so forth, it seems quite real. And you know, all the experts seem to agree that they have been through some kind of a traumatic experience. You know, and you know, some of them, you know, they have little pellets, little inserts that they put under their skin and their hands, and you know, with no explanation on how that got there. I mean, you know, it's pretty obvious that there's something going on here. You know, and there has been, I think, for many years. You know, you remember all the cattle mutilations that were going on. You know, stuff of that type. It's I mean, I don't know how anybody could look at all this stuff and say, nah, it's not real, that's not happening. I don't know how somebody could go there, because, man, it's you know, it's right in our face. And I don't know. Like I say, I believe it's time for the government to come forward and tell us what's really going on here. We've been lied to long enough. And, you know, they've lied to us about so many things, you know, the 9/11 thing, you know, the Kennedy assassination. It's time. It's time. We deserve some truth, you know, and that's kind of where I stand on it all. I definitely think that there's way more happening here than they've let on, and we deserve to know what's really going on, where we came from, how we came to be. I believe the government's well aware of all that information. This is KI-7Z for ID.
KI-7Z, W7MBR. I wouldn't have said that is possible a few years ago if I hadn't had some of these other experiences and things I've even read. But yeah, I'm not downplaying anything you say at all. I don't know definitively, but I'm leaning more toward your philosophy than ever before. Look at what's happening now. There may be more of a explanation, but I've heard scientists say they're not sure what's going on. Look how many solar flares we're having, and look what it's doing to radio. A lot of the times, the solar flares would actually boost up the signals, and everything would be better. But they're doing nothing but playing havoc with the ham band. Seems like it's every other day we're having something. I've never seen anything like that. Of course, I've only been alive, you know, a short period of time compared to time. But even in my lifetime, I've never seen the ham bands this way. It's just something really strange. And this many flares on the sun. I don't know if we did some history, maybe it's happened before, but I'm not immediately aware that it's been this intense. And I don't necessarily believe in global warming, man-caused. Maybe we affected a little bit, but something's happening. And of course, we've had major changes. The dinosaurs, you know, the Ice Age, etc. So that might just be a normal occurrence that's kind of flowing through. But it does seem like things are changing. Even I've even heard that the magnetic north of the Earth is actually shifted and changing more than it's ever done before. So some strange things are happening out there, aren't there? Things seem to be doing something, you know. Remember the movie Gone with the Wind? And when they were standing around Tara, the farm, before the Civil War started, a couple of them, they were military men, or maybe one was a doctor. And one of the famous quotes out of the movie was, "There's something in the air." In other words, something in the air, something's going on. And I've heard other people say that right now. There seems to be something in the air right now. What do you think?
Oh, I'm inclined to agree. You can feel it, you know. You can feel it if you're even just a little bit aware of your surroundings and your environment. And unfortunately, a lot of people aren't. They have the blinders on. They don't want to know, you know. They just want to have their Starbucks in the morning and go to work and come home and sit in their recliner, and they don't want to know what's really going on. But a lot of people do want to know what's going on, and you can definitely feel it. You know, something that I noticed the other day, Dave, that was really peculiar is that normally when, say, you know, 11 meters, DX starts rolling on 11 meters, well, normally 10 meters comes to life right with it. They're right next to each other. And it was really strange. I was dialing through the 11-meter band. The skip was rolling really good. People were shooting skip all over the place. You know, Channel 6, the Super Bowl was cranking on full power. And 10 meters was dead as a doornail. There wasn't a soul on 10 meters. There was no DX, no propagation of any kind. And that's really unusual because, like I say, normally, you know, when 11's going, 10 is going, and when 10's going, 11's going. It's just, they're, you know, it's hand in hand. They're so close together. I've never seen that before in my years where one was, you know, active and the other band wasn't. And I found that to be really strange. You know, and yeah, the magnetic north has moved quite a bit. You know, I grew up on Lake Washington, and, you know, my dad had a small marina, and I used to set up some of the boats. I'd rig the boats with, you know, the radios and compasses and all the depth sounders and downriggers and that kind of stuff. And one of my jobs was to align the compasses. And if I was so many feet off the dock pointing north, there was a landmark that I used to point to and then align the compass to true north. Well, that has moved quite a few degrees to the right, or to the east, I should say, from where it used to be. It's no longer in the same place. And, you know, I was out there just last year, out there right off the same dock where I grew up. And yeah, north is quite a few degrees to the east now, from where it used to be for years and years and years. And, you know, I wonder if whatever's going on with our magnetosphere, if that is possibly what's affecting the radio bands. You know, I was trying to think of what could possibly cause that, you know, besides the sunspots and so on and so forth. And I really wonder if it has something to do with the magnetic field that, you know, the Earth generates.
That's a good thought. That's a good thought, Randy. I've wondered that myself. Let me make sure I have it here. Dan is getting a little noisy, and I copied most of that, but toward the end it was a little sketchy, and I wasn't sure if you turned it back. Yeah, I felt the same way about that. I noticed the same thing on 11. It might have been the same time you did. It's been I can't remember, not that long ago, a month or something like that. I found a scanner that I had brought from Utah, and I didn't realize I had brought it, so I just plugged it into a little wire out of the you know, the shag, not outside, just a little wire inside. A few alligator clips clipped together, as a matter of fact. And I was scanning through, and there was nothing on there. Oh, there's some local police and that on the UHF, but this scanned down all the way down to I think 40 meters or something like that. Wasn't hearing anything. All of a sudden, all these loud signals came through, and I realized it was CB. So when it hit, you know, 28 to 27 megacycles, you know, 27 something, the signals were loud. I mean, really loud. If there was nothing on 10 or 15 or even 20 was dead. So I turned my 101D on, and it's been modified where it will transmit and receive CB. And the same thing, I couldn't hear anybody on 40, 20, 15, 10, yet the CB channels were booming. There was one guy back in New York, it was like 20 over on CB, and I couldn't believe it. So I had a friend over, and he said, give him a call. Maybe they'll be able to hear you. I said, okay. And my loop will tune that band. If I have a tuner, I can tune 11 meters very easily, and I tuned it up. We're only running 100 watts because I don't have a linear for that band. And the guy in New York gave me a 5.9. And I said, am I actually 5.9, or are you just giving that out as a general? He said, no, you are 5.9. I couldn't believe it. And he was about 20 over. Was that, I can't remember, a month or so ago, a month and a half ago, or something like that?
Yeah, that's, and that's really strange that there was an because they always pretty much go hand in hand. I don't know, how that gets controlled. That, one band connects to each other with the active and the other one wouldn't. I don't know, what caused that to happen. I just think it's really strange, and just for the record, of course, my radio involved in that. Some kind of emergency or whatever. That's the way I look at it. Anyway, yeah, I just found that really peculiar. There's some people, there's stuff going on. I'd say, we need to stay tuned for more details. Hey, we've been pretty early in the morning. Better hit the track so I can morning. So, appreciate it, and it's always a pleasure chatting with you. Appreciate the free show.
Okay, Randy. Thank you for coming in. I always appreciate it when you look me up. Gives me a boost here, and we need that every now and then. Yeah, we'll have to continue on. Like I say, I'm hard to convince, but I don't know. This is a little different now, as you were explaining. Things are kind of seem to be shaping up towards something, but I don't know what it is. I can only imagine. I do have some ideas, but you start telling yourself, well, that's crazy. You can't. Nothing like that's going to happen. But I don't know. We'll have to see. Take care and have a good one. Give me a call anytime. I appreciate it. KI7Z, W7MBR. Good morning.
Okay, WMBR, KI7Z. Yes, I will definitely say hello when I hear you in there. KI7Z.
7-3.
And I said, we could take both cars. And if I get tired, I'll get up and walk out. But Nancy's gaga over Ted Nugent. And Johnny's has these venues.
And good morning to you, KV8OVQ. If you got a copy, I know the band is kind of up and down, but we're going to
say good morning to you. If we can't get to you this morning, we know that Harry will revive the ricochet, that's for sure. Good morning to you, KV8OVQ, Alpha Kilo 3 Golf, saying good morning.
Hey, I'm not trying to get it back to Eric, but tell him I said good morning. Hear him calling me like, pull out more. I got a bunch of noise with this rain. Hey, do me a favor and tell Eric I said good morning. Here's Alan. And I hope he's very sick and chilly. If you still got a copy of it.
Copy that, Joe. Eric, did you pick up any of that?
I picked up the first part of it, and then I guess we got some lightning about 100 miles to the southeast of west of us, and it surged up for a minute. But please tell them I say good morning and be careful. I know I was watching my aunt's place out there. They have a little lightning going on out there as well around Ohio, northeast Ohio. So take care, my friend. Tell them I said thank you there, Roger.
Roger that. Yeah, that was just one of Ted's on. Good morning to you and Allison, and I'll go right back. DDR5. So he comes in with the relay from Eric.
Go ahead. I still got a copy.
Yeah, Eric Alpha Kilo 3 Golf says good morning to you and have a great day and be careful with the lightning that's out there and that's pretty much it. Have a good day.
Okay, we appreciate it, Harry. Yes, the wet one this morning, Harry. It's still raining down. We're standing by. We're watching Ben Trust Me. We're standing by.
Yeah, that's the safe way to watch the storm on the computer. DDR5, this is Whiskey 28 Sunday. Giving you all you fellow 10,000 percenters on standing by.
KQ4BRG Mobile. There you go. Hello, good morning to the man. KQ4BRG Hall of Fame Mobile.
Yeah, good morning to you, KQ4BRG. We can hear you in that. We know you're getting some of the same storm and weather that we have. But good morning to you, KQ4BRG. Doug, have a blessed morning. We'll be standing by. Tell everybody we said hello there, Roger.
Yeah, Roger. Yeah, I can hear you this morning. Good morning, Alpha Kilo 3 Golf. My brother sounded good. Yeah, it's already raining here, man, and I can hear some lightning strikes off to the distance. It's going to rain most of the day today, so you guys take care and stay dry a bit. Tell my sister Allison a bit good morning. Alpha Kilo 3 Golf. We're standing by.
KQ4BRG, if you can hear me, good morning to you. Whiskey 4 HLJ again.
Yeah, Whiskey 4 HLJ, big signal. Good morning to you this morning there, Roger.
Yeah, good morning to you, Doug. Yeah, things have been pretty noisy this morning out there on I-7. I do well, but yeah, be careful in that rainstorm. We're not having it down here. It looks like everybody else is.
Yeah, Roger. Yeah, it's already raining here. Once it just started drizzling here, Roger.
Roger that. I'll pass on the good morning to the other guys that hit on you. I know we were all trying to call you a little bit earlier.
Yeah, Roger. Yeah, I was tuning my antenna down so I can get down on this band. But I'm hearing all you guys. I still heard you on yet. I thought I heard Whiskey 9, Whiskey Romeo Mike in there too there, Roger.
Yeah, Bill's in there too. His signal was pretty good too, so I'll pass the buck on that. And give you a bit of that up to those guys. KQ4BRG, this is Whiskey Bright Dugout. Good speaking to you this morning, back.
Roger. Thank you. And good morning, Whiskey 9, Whiskey Romeo Mike. You got a copy.
KQ4BRG, Whiskey 9, Whiskey Romeo Mike. I got a fantastic copy on you there, Doug.
Yeah, Roger, man, you booming here. I got you loud now. I was about 15 over this morning.
Same to you there. You're 5'9" plus about 10 over, so you're not doing too bad there yourself there. Hope you're doing well there this morning.
Roger. Yeah, it's quiet this morning. Getting ready to get off here in another 2 hours and start on the weekend there, Roger.
Roger. Sounds like a plan to me.
Roger. All right. I'll go stand by and listen in on here. KQ4BRG, stand by.
Okay there, Doug. Have a great day there, my friend. We'll talk to you later.
Did you get any of that?
No, I didn't get none of that there. I could just hear y'all talking to Doug. I just getting bits and pieces over.
Yeah, it was Doug. We did get through on both Bill, Eric, and myself. Had a good morning to him. So if you want, I'll pass on that good morning from me to KQ4BRG.
Okay, so passing my good morning to him. I hear him. I got so much noise. I can't hear nothing over.
Copy that. KQ4BRG, you still there for Whiskey 4 HLJ?
Roger. Yeah, thanks for putting you on the log, and thanks for all that you done.
That's out. It'll be
all right, we thank you. I appreciate it. Are you doing okay down there?
Yeah, you just have to put them on the log. We'll be taking two, my friend.
Okay, we got him on the log. Got him checked in. Appreciate you, Rick and Sam. Kato, stand him out.
No problem. Whiskey 4 HLJ, stand by.
What's almost 15 after the hour. Let me see if I can get a call in real quick. Here, so we'll bring the shoes real quick, okay? Let's shoot this thing down south real quick. Kilo November 4, Golf Bravo Zulu. Charlie, you copy this one, over?
Hey, good morning, Joe. Hope you can hear me okay. Just ran to the radio from getting my coffee. Looks like it's a nice morning here, but it's going to be a hot day. It sounded good from 5 to 9. Came for GBZ.
Good morning, Charlie. For GBZ. This is Kilo Delta 8 to OV to Q return. We're flying top of my friend. Sounding good. Also at a 5-9 report on you. There's the bell up there downtown Cleveland. And we're taking plane this morning, Charlie. We got a little bit of a weather pattern going on right now. We're right around 49 degrees right now outside. We got rain since last night about 10 o'clock. We got most of the rain all day today, over.
Yeah, copy that. We should send some of that rain my way because we're not getting any rain. Got a 10% chance of rain between 6 and 7 this morning, but that means no rain this time. But it looks like it's going to be a hot week, but Sunday we may get some rain. Looks like there's 40% chance of rain, which means that we may get rain, over.
Oh, man, we had to sing some. I feel like a duck this morning.